it is Marvel Contest of Champions news time for the 4th of May 2018. May the 4th be with you. And this is the closest thing I had to a Star Wars t-shirt. Death Star Pokeball, yeah, I don't think they really work together, but hey, like I said, closest thing I had to a Star Wars t-shirt to, celebrate the day that is May the 4th be with you. And we've got Marvel Contest of Champions news to get our teeth into, because a lot in 24 hours does change and new things come in that we've got to address. So let's dive into these news stories at large. Some of you may be wondering, hey, what's the deal with these things? Why are these still here? They should have gone ages ago and we should be focusing on other things with regards to the game. I don't know. These crystals have just been there for a while, and as well, like shards, like obviously we're grinding out for these shards for dimensional rifts that haven't been around for about a couple of days now. So it's kind of weird. Like, I understand obviously if people have missed out, they can spend them. I can imagine that there'll be a conversion at the end of this event. So after these certain amount of days have finished, the conversion with regards to the leftover shards will either go to Prems, at a stretch 3 and 4 star crystal shards, but I'm not 100% sure on that. I'm still waiting for some clarification from the powers that be, the Legion of Doom, as it were. Shout out to Contest of Champions Memes 3. If you watch that, you'll get that reference. But it is kind of odd to see these things still about, and hopefully we get an idea in the next day or two what's going to happen to them. Are they going to be converted to Prems at the end of it? Are they going to be converted to any other shard type? We shall see. Next up is weird sounds. So you may be wondering, when you're fighting your Infinity War Iron Man, what's the deal with that kind of breaking glass noise? That's weird, Kabam. What are you doing with your game? Well, it's normal. Well, for Kabam, nothing's really normal. But the abnormal side of things is that this is indeed an error with regards to sound, and is something that will be resolved at a later date. Multiple devices are experiencing this issue. I can't remember experiencing it myself, but I'm not to say that it's not there. So if you're experiencing it, then it will be sorted. Kabam Lyra says that is definitely something they're going to be looking towards and hopefully fix fairly shortly. So yeah, if you're confused by it, don't worry, it will be sorted. Next up is arenas. Yes, apologies, we are in the middle of the arena at the moment. And usually I do cover these on the start of the week, but that's the point that I was coming back to making content. So my apologies with that. And in particular, what do I predict with regards to this stuff? Well, for the 5-star, anything between 22 to 25 mil. Nebula's a solid champion. She's not amazing, but she is incredibly fun, especially when it comes to that level of shock damage. So I do rate it quite highly. With regards to like just application of using lots of content, not so much, but the immunity side of things as well as the shock damage, pretty darn cool. However though, yeah, 22 to 25 mil potentially for that one. When we're looking over to the 4-star version, expect people are going to be doing milestones, but at the same time, anything between about 7 to 8 mil. I don't know if it's going to push up. Sometimes it fluctuates. Sometimes you'll see one week where a featured champion that's a less than desirable champion going for anything between about 4 to 7 mil, but this one could be the same. It could be a case of people doing milestones and maybe pushing it a little bit further in order to kind of get some decent 5-star shards. But anything really it could go for. 8 mil is kind of a good benchmark. Anything lower than 8 mil, anything between say 6 and 8. It's a very iffy one to kind of place at the moment with featured, because sometimes people go hard on it, some people don't. And finally, Morningstar. Morningstar, again, a very difficult one. This may be a case where the basic goes higher than the featured with regards to the 4-star. And, she's a good champion. I've got the 4-star version and the 5-star version, both awakened, both fantastic and really and highly enjoyable. More for like long haul questing, but great champion nevertheless. And I'm thinking about a 4.5 to 6 mil at an absolute kind of push. But again, very hard to pinpoint because Morningstar is a desirable champion. Nebula, not so much of a desirable champion, but it just depends on how much people are going to be grinding out over this weekend. Next up, and hopefully this video comes out a little bit earlier, so just to let everybody know, this is the dual skirmish target, the easy and the hard one. Obviously, like I said, follow Marvel Contest of Champions Street Course, great content and great stuff with regards to sources. And yeah, like if you haven't done it, make sure you're doing your duels, help out your fellow Alliance members by getting those milestones. It's really important. Next up, we had a list of bug fixes. So if you've well, living under a rock, we haven't had the smoothest with regards to implementation of the recent update, especially at the point of going live. So obviously the last update went live, it was alright-ish. We had a few issues with regards to dungeons and a few other kind of micro issues which have been listed in a previous Marvel Contest of Champions news. But there are things that need to be addressed, and thankfully they will be. Unfortunately, the iOS version of the new patch release is not up, so that won't be live for a little while as it's getting approved. But the details of the changes, so there's been an issue fix where data could become corrupted and result in connection error in game, and that's annoying because obviously we had the big outage this week, which was not particularly good. And that is something that I was going to put in as a news source, but we haven't had an update like what was the actual issue with the Wednesday downage time. And if anybody was in my stream on Wednesday, you'll know that as soon as I went live, the game went down, which was just so much of bad timing. I do think it's because I memed Mike. I'm not sorry. I thought about saying sorry, but I'm not sorry. Okay, fixed an issue where your Infinity Dungeon session might end prematurely when your Alliance War placement or attack phase ends. Yeah, very frustrating. The dungeons have not been as streamlined with regards to kind of implementation, especially when it comes to the whole aspect of matchmaking. A lot of people are finding when partners there, I don't think people communicate well with one another. I've had one good experience, and I've got a dungeon buddy, so it's fine. Like I've linked up with someone. We both understand what we want to achieve on a daily, so it's cool. So shout out to Young Flips. Fix an issue where special attacks were able to be interrupted. Yes. Now this won't be live on the iOS version, so the point Marvel Contest Champions news going live, you will probably still experience that issue for a little while. Very disappointing with that, especially when you're doing difficult content. Luckily, I didn't have so much of an issue when I was doing the Tom Holland and Chadwick Boseman event. That was fine, but I did experience some things from time to time with that. So yeah, it's very frustrating, especially if you're doing more difficult content. So avoid difficult content until it's been fixed. Give it another 2 days before doing that. I think I'm going to avoid uncollected Thanos until that point. Fix an issue where icons for items in store not matching up with the names of those items. Yeah, we had that with the Alliance level 4 health potion, I want to say. Very frustrating to see that. The dungeon stuff, yeah, big overhaul with things needs to be sorted out with regards to delays in chat. That's another thing as well. There's so many things with regards to dungeons, with regards to smooth running. I understand, obviously, it's very kind of like very early with regards to release of this. It's like it's not been quite so fresh in the game, but yeah, it's like they've got to learn a lot of lessons from that, because it's good, but it could be a lot better. Fix an issue where chat history from one friend was displayed on user's window when opening a chat with a different friend. Yeah, I didn't like that at all. I think that was just frustrating to say the least. And also there's been various crash fixes, which hopefully going forward is going to mean for a better streamlined type of the game. But like I said, iOS version, you're going to be delayed with regards to getting a better version. And our final part to this with regards to like release updates on stuff that were issues, because most of them have been issues, unfortunately. We have some additional release notes, and that is the loop with Quake. Exploitable loop with Quake. Didn't know about that. Fix an issue that caused a delay on placing a debuff after Void's special attack. Yeah, okay, bit frustrating with that. Void's great defender, and especially when it comes to a new season of Alliance Wars, it's vitally important that they sort that out, because, hey, you know, people have got to use him. Next up is touching on this subject with regards to Alliance Wars, piloting violations and other things. So last time we had a Alliance Wars Seasons, I did talk about people that lost a lot of things with regards to ratings and their positioning and placement when it comes to getting decent rewards at the end of Season 1. And it was very frustrating based on people that violated terms of service and, you know, were running third-party apps. So this month, obviously, we got Season 2. We've got a fresh kind of vibe when it comes to violations of this service. But people are still wondering, like, how do they spot these type of people? And there's lots of people kind of saying, hey, well, if you kind of notice people that are kind of not losing health quite so easily, or they go through stuff like a freight train, they start with full health and then they go through and they still got full health. Yes, okay, they could be the best player in the world, but you wouldn't expect that from someone that maybe is level 34 or maybe a lot lower level than that maybe doesn't have certain masteries. So there's a few things with regards to like how you can check that. However, though, I really hope that there is a strong bit of work by Kabam to kind of help Alliance leaders identify those who have done that, because it shouldn't be that the rest of Alliance is actually punished for someone's misdemeanors or indiscretions. It should be a case that they work with them to go, hey, I'm thinking this person is, can you make sure that you remove them from your alliance? Otherwise, we'll have to take action. You'll have 24 hours to remove them from the alliance. Otherwise, we will take the rating. It gives people that chance, that benchmark of kind of knowing, hey, right, we've got a problem. We need to solve it. We need to get somebody in. So therefore, we don't get our alliance wars rating damaged in any kind of way, our reputation damaged, and at the same time, the alliance is still healthy and continuing through. Because, you know, banning people and then kind of like reducing like a good chunk of like alliance members because someone is, you know, messed up, it does affect everybody else. So that is really important. I really hope that Kabam can do a lot more with regards to linking up with alliance leaders on issues quite like this. So that's been Marvel Contest of Champions news for the 4th of May 2018. Have a great Star Wars orientated weekend. There may be more news over the weekend. If anything breaks, you'll hear about it first here. I've been RichTheMan. If you enjoyed the video, hit that like button and subscribe for more Marvel Contest of Champions based content. And as always, I shall catch you on the flip side. Bye bye for now.